Here's the book right here, The Hacker Method,
Oh,
coming out on
cool,
February
cool.
27th. Yeah. It's
So,
a piggy bank, and I don't know if you've ever heard the term, yeah, when pigs fly, right? And so the idea is
hmm
I'm trying to address this concept of people, even if you're living on limited income, you don't have to stay there, right? I was able to do what I did on minimum wage, and let's say you're making better than minimum wage. You can absolutely, your pig can fly, your piggy bank can fly. All he has to do is jump in an airplane, and that's the house hack, right? Or that's the different hacks that I have in the book of how to deal with having what's considered a limited income, but you can still, we're in America, man. There's opportunities everywhere. And if you just kind of put this into a system and be dedicated to it over the long term, you can build a multi-million-dollar net worth.
hello, everyone. Welcome back to another show. Today, we're going to talk about the hacker method, and I'm going to learn a lot about the hacker method. But basically, we've got a gentleman here who was making pretty much minimum wage, working as a missionary, right? So,
Yep.
and we're going to figure out how, from making minimum wage, he was able to assess a multi-million-dollar real estate portfolio. I think is how he built his wealth. But this is what the conversation's about today. And he's recently released the book, The Hacker Method. So please welcome Brian to the show. Brian, welcome.
Thank you, Beau. It's an honor and privilege for me to be here with you guys today.
And where are you based out of? Are you in Arizona?
Yeah, Phoenix and Gilbert, actually.
Okay, Gilbert. Okay, so a missionary, does that mean you're most likely Mormon? Is that
No,
accurate?
not Mormon,
Missionary or
evangelical,
oh,
Christian, yeah, non-denominational, but
it
yeah.
could. Okay, got it. I'm Jewish, so I just don't
Okay,
know. I always had that like that it was you were Mormon when you went on a mission, but it's
right,
not necessarily true.
right.
See, I'm learning about the religious thing. Okay, so you have faith, let's say that,
Yeah.
and you worked as a missionary. So were you the guy going to door and
No,
knocking on doors and things like?
our mission was to find, train, and send primarily young adult missionaries out, and they did some door knocking, but mostly we were just entering into a community and serving the community's needs and developing relationships in that way. So we did everything from helping women escape prostitution to working with orphans to helping people put their marriages back together, just kind of that kind of stuff.
Okay, so I think you're in your 40s.
Yeah.
You look very young.
Well, thank
I'm just
you.
reading on your bio here, and so until what age were you doing the missionary work?
So from 2005, so I would have been 29 years old until 2021 when I was when I was 44 that we finally hung it up.
Okay, and so during that time, you were really making like close to minimum wage, and you were able to grow your wealth. And I'm assuming it's because I know you personally that it's through real estate.
Yeah.
And so so when you got started in real estate, you didn't have much money, or did you have family money? I mean,
Yeah, no.
is this how the hacker method all came about?
Yeah, so the hacker method is was really me just when we got to kind of the end of that cycle and we decided we're going to retire from mission work and people kept asking me, well, what are you doing next? And I was like, well, I'm just going to kind of take care of my investments and I'm not really going into a new gig. And they were like, what are you talking about? And so I had a couple people say, can you show me what you did? Because that sounds intriguing. And so that's when I decided, okay, I got to write this down because it was just all in my head, kind of floating around, disorganized, and so I decided I'm gonna write a book so that I can help other people do what we did. And to answer your question, if you took all of the hours we worked, or we took all the income we received as missionaries and divided it into all the hours that we worked for those 16 years, we made $9.20 an hour average. Now, when we started, we
Hmm.
made nothing, and when we finished, I was making better than that, but the average was $9.20 an hour.
Okay, so what got you into real estate? I mean, obviously you're doing all this great work for people and helping people, which is a beautiful thing. Most people don't do that. But there was part of you that said, "Well, I got to start worrying about my future."
Yeah.
And so is that how you got into real estate? And then talk us through how you built this portfolio with, not a crazy amount of money.
Yeah. So I bought my first duplex when I was in college, and it was really kind of before the term house hack was a term, right? It was live in one side and rent out the other, which is a lot less catchy than house hack. And I just was trying to figure out how to live for free. I didn't have any money, and I didn't want to. I didn't want to rent. I understood the concept. If I'm renting property, I'm paying off someone else's mortgage, and so I bought a duplex when I was 19, and actually started to buy more real estate when I was young because I kind of got the bug for it. And then when I decided I wanted my life to be more than just making money, I wanted to serve people as well. We actually sold off a few of our units, and that's when we moved to South America. But after we moved to South America, I still I understood the church was not going to provide any retirement, and so that was up to us. And so even when we started and we were in our late 20s and early 30s, my wife and I, we just said, listen, we've got to continue to try to build. And so we put together what is now known as the hacker method, and it's just a way of living lavishly living on less is the way I like to say it. And we have a chapter in the book on that. So just figuring out how to minimize the amount of money that's going out to stuff that we don't need so that we can invest a significant portion, even on a small paycheck, invest a significant portion. So we kept building our real estate. We dabbled in stocks. We did other kinds of investments, but we were just always dedicated to investing a large percentage of our income. That was how we did it.
Got it. That's what I think a lot of people need to learn to, take a percentage of their weekly or monthly check and put it into savings. So you would put it into some kind of, say, money market until it grew to a certain level, use that as the down payment for the next one, cash out,
Yeah.
refi, and you
Yep.
kept on scaling from there. And then what do you find to be the best method of tracking expenses? Like, I think that's a big thing that I was just talking about that earlier this morning. Like, I really, how much is going out on food, gas?
Yeah.
Like, where are you tracking this for yourself?
Yeah, we actually going alongside with the book, we're actually launching a community where people can join up, pay a monthly fee, and be a part of kind of this lifelong venture to build wealth, even on limited income. Now, if you are making a couple $100,000 as a professional, you can go so much further, so much faster, but the same principles apply. And so I personally have used QuickBooks, like even a business version of QuickBooks, and I look at my family as an enterprise. And I think that's an important psychological thing to do as well, that your family should have a profit and loss statement. It should have a balance sheet, and you should have metrics that you're watching. Now, you don't have to go nuts about it, but just having that tracking and having all your credit cards dump into your accounting automatically. So all you have to do is like, oh yeah, that's food, that's groceries, that's fuel. And then it will give you a nice pretty report that tells you where you're at, and then you can know what you need to adjust, right? So that's what I do, but there's other cheaper solutions or even free solutions that you can do to track it. But I think tracking is vital.
Yeah, I think I've always been more of a self-employed commission-based type of transactional, and it's always been an issue because it's like, okay, 1 month you just close a couple deals, you get a bunch of big checks,
Right.
and then like all of a sudden there's dry season, and then you forgot to take
Yeah.
25% off the top. So somebody who's a commission-based, let's just say, are we just taking 25, or what's the number we take off the top and put somewhere else? Is there kind of a rule of thumb that you guys in the hacker method like to take on that kind of
Yeah.
scenario?
So I do address that. If somebody's like a salesperson or they sell cars or they're a real estate agent or whatever it is, where their income is not predictable, I would say take the last year. What was the average last year? And I actually teach people you need to set an automatic transfer out of your checking account into an investment account. And yeah, it can go into a money market or it can go into an S&P 500 mutual fund and just automatically invest it there until that fund grows. And this is what you said earlier, it was right on. Until that fund grows big enough where maybe you could buy a duplex or a single family home to rent out as a real estate investment. But I teach people make that an automatic transfer out of your account. And if you're not sure, and if there's dry seasons, and if you want to be a little conservative, maybe just set a minimum amount that comes out so that you're in the habit and you're in the thing and it's coming out. And then when your big payday comes in, come back in and fill it up to the percentage that you're wanting to do. So, but just take last year's average, and if you take last year's average and you think this year's going to be close to it, just let it ride through the low season, let it ride through the big season, and hopefully that works for you. But you can always adjust as you're going through too.
Are you trying to escape the W-2 rat race? Or have you always wanted to own your own business? Have you ever thought about owning a franchise? If so, franuniversity.com can help. Our training program teaches you everything you need to know about franchise ownership, from choosing the right franchise to launching and running your business. We have the resources and specialists to help you from A to Z. You'll gain the skills and knowledge you need to succeed as a franchise owner. The best part? It's free to join. Go to franuniversity.com.
Your book just recently came out, right?
Actually, it doesn't come out
How
until
long ago?
February 27th, 2024.
Oh, okay. Okay. So we're about 2 weeks away, a little less than,
Two,
about 2
2 weeks
weeks.
out. Yep. It'll be available on Amazon.
Eh,
And we're actually running a promo the first week. You can get the audio or the Kindle version for 99 cents. Just trying to give it out to the people who need it the most for that first week. And then after that, it goes back to $10. Paperback is $20 and the hardback is 25.
Okay, is it gonna be Audible eventually?
Yeah, we'll probably release the Audible version in 3 or 4 months, but we're starting with these three
Okay.
formats first. Yeah.
Yeah, and so let's kind of unpack, like, you're now, obviously you've been investing in real estate for many years now. Where are you focused now on your real estate investments? Are you still doing singles and duplexes, fourplexes? Has that changed?
So I've actually gone more exclusively to single families. I will do a duplex, maybe a threeplex now and again. Threeplexes seem to be they're super rare, at least in my markets, but they kind of help with some of that economies of scale, but still feel like a small property, so it's more intimate. And the reason why we've gone that strategy is we do short-term rentals, which is not necessarily what I would recommend everybody do, but we've built up our business around it, and it's working for us. So short-term rentals tend to do a little bit better with the smaller properties rather than like an eightplex or a 16plex. So that's where we've.
Where are most of your holdings? Are they in the Phoenix area or Arizona?
So about half of them are in Phoenix, and half of them are in Boise, Idaho, which is where I'm from originally. So that's where I started my portfolio, and then we've expanded to Phoenix.
Okay, got it, got it. And so you're not in necessarily vacation markets. You're more just a normal. Is there any tips on kind of the market? Did I heard Phoenix in some instances got hit a little bit. It blew up because of COVID,
Yep.
and then now it's kind of normalizing. Did you get impacted during that time a lot?
So we're buy and hold long term strategy is our strategy, and so yeah, there was a little bit of a blip, but I just took the opportunity and bought more during that blip, and so yeah, some of our property maybe came back a little bit. The short term rental thing also had the same kind of thing, going along in 2018, 2019, then 2020 it went nuts. So we thought the whole thing was going to fall apart, but actually it went the opposite direction. People were paying ridiculous rates for short-term rentals during the COVID. Then that ended, and then we kind of corrected and went below. We're right back up to where we were in 2019, but we've had some inflation, so our rates are actually higher, but our occupancy is back to where we were in 2019. So I think we've normalized.
Are you doing like value add type of deals, or you just buy them if they're good and you don't do, or you kind of try to buy them cheap,
Yep,
rehab them, and then create like a 20 or 30% equity cushion
exactly
into it,
right.
and then
That's exactly what we're doing.
refinance it into long-term debt?
Yep, that's exactly
So,
what we're
so
doing.
you're kind of you're burring short-term rentals, kind of. Is that the model?
Yeah, so I've even heard the term burster. So it's a burr with an STR at the end. So I would say that's probably what we're doing.
Burster.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, no, that's great. I like that business model. That's what I would. I don't own any short-term rentals. I own some long-term, but I want to do. I'm here in Vegas, and they got certain regulations like they do in most markets now. But I do want to do some short-term rentals.
You're in Vegas, you
I
said?
actually help yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So Henderson, there we got to get a permit if that's the next city over. We have to get a permit here, but I'm looking. I'd love to do. I gave my buddy a training course on Airbnbs a while back as an old training course, and I watched him get 6 short-term rentals. He's got one in Phoenix, one in Scottsdale.
Yeah.
He's got 2 in Tahoe, and one in the Bay Area, Northern California, and he's crushing it. He's doing well over 500,000 in gross revenue between the 5,
Wow.
and he says he nets about 240 a year
Wow, that's
after
great.
expenses.
Yeah.
He locked in like 3% money.
Yeah.
And I watched him do it all. I gave him the training video, and then I go, "Oh, by the way, here's my cost segregation guy,"
Uh-huh.
because you can, if you materially
Yep.
participate, you can utilize cost
Yep.
segregation and offset potentially some W-2 income.
Right.
So I love the strategy. I just need to take action and figure this market out here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, short-term rental it's seasonal, it's cyclical, but I always say it's double the rent revenue and triple the profit over a traditional rental. Now, what people have to understand is that the business model is extremely different. If you went into traditional rentals and you thought, hey, this doesn't feel super passive, that's certainly not the case with short-term rentals. Short-term rentals are it's a hosting business, it's a hospitality business. It's more like a hotel than like a traditional, 12-month lease operation.
Yeah. My buddy has, he has somebody that does he has like a co-host almost, but the guy's overseas and he does this for people in the States, and I think my buddy pays him like $12 an hour,
Okay. Yeah.
which is good money there.
Yeah.
And my friend's only spending 4 or 5 hours a week in the business right now.
Yeah,
I
that's
thought that was
great.
pretty amazing.
Yeah, you can get that dialed
Yeah,
in. But it's
if
just
you can get,
a lot more it's a lot more customer service centric, and so you need more
hmm
staff, and so if you're managing staff, you've got those elements that just don't exist as much in the long term. That's kind of the point of it.
handyman
Yeah.
turnover. I mean, you got to have that all addressed, and
Yeah.
you need. I think what he does is his guy is the point of contact for all the communications, and then he steps in when he needs to for getting a new handyman.
Yeah.
The turnover crew's not doing a good job, so I could see if you don't set it up correct, it's going to be worse than a job.
Yeah, it
But if
could
you
be. Yeah.
if you can get it, yeah,
Yeah, it
yeah,
could be. But yeah, if you could
and
I mean, like anything, you can put your systems into place and then just tweak your systems. So
yeah, yeah, and so did you self-publish this book,
So it's being published through
or did you
Strong
have?
Publishing. So yeah, I've got a publisher, and yeah. So here's the book right here, The Hacker Method,
Oh,
coming out on
cool,
February
cool.
27th. Yeah. So it's
So
a piggy bank, and I don't know if you've ever heard the term. Yeah, when pigs fly, right? And so the idea is
hmm
I'm trying to address this concept of people, even if you're living on limited income, you don't have to stay there, right? I was able to do what I did on minimum wage. And let's say you're making better than minimum wage. You can absolutely, your pig can fly, your piggy bank can fly. All he has to do is jump in an airplane. And that's the house hack, right? Or that's the different hacks that I have in the book of how to deal with having what's considered a limited income. But you can still, we're in America, man. There's opportunities everywhere. And if you just kind of put this into a system and be dedicated to it over the long term, you can build a multi-million-dollar net worth.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. I think this is a message, everybody. Go out, get the book. You can go to the unexpectedinvestor.com. You can probably find the link for the book
Yep.
that's going to be released in about 2 weeks.
Yep.
Go there, and even if you're not making much money and you're like, I don't have any savings, well, this is the book for you,
Yeah.
because this is going to get you. It's those baby steps. You save, pay yourself first, right? That's what they
Yep.
tell you. Get that check,
Yep.
get it out of your system, put
Exactly
it in
right.
that other account,
Yep.
forget about it. Now all of a sudden you have several $1,000s. Maybe you don't own a home, you do a house hack, right?
Right.
You live on one side of the duplex, you turn the other one into a short-term rental. A year later, you
Yep.
move out,
Yep.
and this is how you became a multimillionaire.
Yep.
And everybody out there should get the book, because if you don't have a couple $1,000,000 net worth, you got to start today, or you're never going to get it.
Yep. Absolutely right. And people
Uh,
people ask me, well, isn't now a bad time to start? And the truth is, if you look at the U.S. Census, every year since 19 or every decade since 1940, the U.S. Census has recorded the median household cost. Like what was the median sale price of homes in the United States? And every decade since 1940 until 2020, the value of homes has increased by at least 40%. And that's after World War II, the Great Depression, recessions every 10 years, the Great Recession, the dot-com bust. I mean, it's all baked into that. And we've grown housing costs by at least 40% every decade. So can't guarantee that's going to happen in the future, but man, we got a strong track record. If you just plant that seed today, the best time to plant a tree, yeah, it was 10 years ago. Yeah, 2008 would have been the best time to buy property. But the second best time is today, because man, the track record of real estate in the United States is rock solid. And if you just plant your seeds today, water it, give it the food that it needs, the nutrients that it needs, take care of it, 10 years from now, chances are very good that it's going to go up significantly in value.
Yeah. And not to mention all the tax benefits
Yeah.
and cash flow.
Cash flows,
So
tax
there's-
benefits,
and
totally.
mortgage pay down.
Yep.
It's like there's 5 revenue streams, guys. So it's one of the best, if not the best, asset classes to be in. So that is so cool. Well, we'll have to have you come back and do a live session because we have a meetup
Oh,
group,
cool.
and then you could come and we could go Zoom and we could do maybe a PowerPoint walking them through some of the methods.
Yeah.
I think that'd be cool for the next show.
Yeah, I'd love to do that. And maybe after the book is out, that way people can like buy it on the spot kind of a thing. So yeah, I'd love to do that, Beau.
Cool. So guys, go to the unexpectedinvestor.com, get your book, and thank you so much for being a guest.
Thank you, Beau. Appreciate the invitation.
Hey guys, Beau Eckstein here. If you enjoyed what you saw, please subscribe to this channel. We talk all things financing. I've been in the lending industry for over 20 years, and I'm happy to answer your questions and provide great content.